Hello Steelers, and today I am doing a short review of some new Grumbler Miniatures that Alan over at Grumbler Miniatures were very kindly sent me as a review set. These are 6mm, it's a pretty new company. They recently did an interview with Sean over at God's Own Scale podcast, so I suggest you go and check that out. It's pretty interesting from a point of view of setting up a new company and the pitfalls and triumphs that they have. It's well worth listening to, very interesting stuff. But they are specifically a new 6mm figure company. I've got the business card here so you can see the website and their email address. I'll put those in the description anyway of the video, but I'm going to show you some of the stuff that Alan has sent through for me very kindly. This is mostly Prussian stuff because he actually asked me what I wanted, and the thing I'll be looking at next for my 6mm collections is Prussian miniatures, but I've also got some pre-release stuff here and I'm going to show you that later on in a second. First of all, let's have a look at some of these packs that he's sent through. He sent quite a few here, and I will be painting a couple of these up just to show you how they paint as well. This is one of the things when I first saw them on the website. I've got to say, I wasn't underwhelmed, but I just thought, well, you know, how do they match up against people like Bacchus? Because obviously they're a leader in the 6mm world, really, but in the flesh these things are absolutely beautiful, and they're every bit as good as the Bacchus figures that I've got. And I've only got a few really for the Prussians in 1815, but I can make some kind of comparisons at least. So let's have a look at these. These are the Landview. Let's get those into focus for you there, if we can, if the camera's going to do it for me. You can see here there we go, we're back in focus there. There's a hell of a lot of detail on these for 6mm. This is one of the things about 6mm these days, they really are coming along in leaps and bounds. You can see these chaps have got their little Feldmuts and their coats on. I think it's a Feldmutz, I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that. They've also, you can see the backpacks very clearly. The bayonets on them are very nice and thin actually for figures that are cast in lead, in tin. These are really nice tiny bayonets. I don't know how hard they'd stand up to a lot of damage, but a lot of abuse. But they certainly look the part for a 6mm figure. This is the command stand for the Landview there. So we've got the flagman, your officer, a couple of other. The drummer, and I'm not sure what the other chap is in the centre there, but probably a sergeant or something. But that's the not sure. Sorry, just bring those back into focus again. There we go. That's my point of focus there. There we are. So that's the Landview. We've got quite a few there. I usually base in 16s for my battalions, so that would be 3 units, three strips of 4, and as you can see they've got 4 in each of these, so there's enough there for at least a battalion for me. I mean these are probably more in size for maybe, I don't know, your traditional 6mm figures, I'm guessing, but for me 4 of these each would be perfect, and they're a good price as well if you have a look on the website. Okay, that's the Landview. So look at what else we've got here. We've got some Prussian line. So I'm kind of looking at these with you, really. I mean, I've not really had much of a great chance to sit down and look through these. So I'm kind of this is just my first impressions, and also just to give you an idea of how these things look. So here's the Prussian line. Let's get them into focus again. And we're now joined by my cat again. She seems to like these review videos. So again, you can see a great deal of detail on these. And again, those bayonets, they really stand out to me because the bayonets on some of the things like the Bacchus stuff are slightly bigger, which, you know, is not a problem, but it's just that these ones look a little bit more in scale, I would say, with the 6mm stuff. A lot of nice fine detail, so again, they will paint up. So that's the line. We've also got, let's have a look, we've got some, that's our command stand for the line there. So same again, we've got the drummers, the officers, and a flagman. You can see the officer is actually pointing and shouting something as well at the same time. So that's again nice. It's a nice little touch there, really. Because one of the things you get with a lot of 6mm manufacturers is they generally make very similar type of figures for their units. So it's nice to have somebody doing something slightly different, you know, just to break it up a little bit. I mean, obviously they're not 28mm skirmish figures, and it's all about the look of the battalion, but it's nice just to have a couple of figures doing a few different things here and there. So again, these are the Prussian reserves. So there they are with their shakos. So I'm just literally just showing you through these the figures as I'm opening the box itself as well. That's the command for those Prussian reserves. So far, so we've had the line, we've got the Landview, we've got the reserves as well. We've also got a few officers in here. Another one here. Here we are, Prussians in greatcoats. Let's have a look at those, see how they look. So this is the officer set, with your officer shouting in the ear of the flagman again. And these ones are in the greatcoats. You can see here's the line infantry in greatcoats. So you can see that greatcoat very well on those. That'll be a nice, easy thing to paint. Quite a big surface on that. Again, really nice, nicely sculpted. Very good proportions on the figures themselves as well, which is nice. We have here Trillian Jaegers. So these are some hunters. These are skirmishers. Just keep getting these into the into the frame there. You can see that these have got their particular hats on. And also what is good with these skirmishes is there's 4 different poses on those. So again, with a lot of 6mm stuff, and Bacchus, I'm looking at you here, their skirmishes are pretty static in their poses. However, these ones are really nice and broken up, which is really going to add to the base. When I base my figures, I base them for Blucher, and I do them in brigades, so I have skirmishers out of the front. So it's going to look nice with a line of skirmishers at the front of the unit, who are all different rather than the same. So we have some more skirmishers here. So these ones, again, in that look like they're in that Feldmutz. So we've got this pose, 4 of them in this pose, 4 of them in other poses there, you can see. And again, a 3rd one with more poses. So they'll really mix up really nice at the front of a unit, or even as a unit on their own. That'll be a lovely addition. We've also got a few officers here, so we're going to have a look at these ones. So we've got the Prussian hussar officer. I'm just going to, as I say, literally pulling these out of the bag right now just to show you how they look. I'll do a quick comparison with some Bacchus ones in a second, once I've actually gone through the ones that I've got here. So we've got this chap here. This is the hussar officer, very flamboyant. Again, very nice little figure that, really. That will look nice mounted on its own, possibly even as a staff officer, but also mixed in within the unit as well. We've got the Lancer, Prussian Lancers. So these are just a mix of some of the cavalry. So again, a really nice, lovely sculpted horses on those. A lot of character in them. And again, back to that proportion thing, really. These look really, really nice proportionally wise. We also have a Prussian officer, mounted officer, so this would just be a generic officer there, waving his sword about like he doesn't care. So that's a nice, again, another nice little figure that will mix in pretty well with pretty much everything across the army. And then we also have, finally, a Prussian cuirassier. So let's take a look at him. Some heavy cavalry. As I say, I've only really got the Prussians here. simply because that's what I asked for when Alan said he was going to send some stuff out for me, because I'm more interested at the moment in the Prussian stuff. But if these figures are carried on, or the figures are similarly carried on into the other ranges, like the French and the British, then I would be very happy to buy some of these. Okay, so we've got a comparison here, and my cat is helping out by showing you what it is. These are, on the left hand side we've got the Bacchus Prussian militia, and then on the right hand side I've got the Landview by Grumbler Miniatures. So you can really see the difference in the figures. The Bacchus ones are just slightly chunkier, and as I say, I mentioned those the bayonets on them. You can see with the Bacchus ones they're just ever so slightly thicker than the Grumbler Miniatures ones, but together these would mix really well across an army, because obviously 6mm, you're looking at it, you know, from afar. You're not looking at details, you're looking at the whole. And these, I think, both of these figures would really easily mix in together if you wanted to. So you got quite a good choice across the board, not just of using the Bacchus stuff, but also of going to Grumbler as well. I mean, obviously Bacchus at the moment are struggling a bit with orders, so you know, you've got somewhere else that you can go to get similar looking figures that are as good, in my opinion. I think they're equally as good. I'm absolutely blown away by how nice these Grumbler Miniatures are in the flesh. And then finally we have something very exciting here. This is a pre-release set of French Marshals. So we have Napoleon, we also have Ney and a few others in here as well. To be honest, 6mm, I'd be hard pushed to identify them if I could, so I'm not going to, but let's have a look at these figures as well. So these are pre-release. These will be out anytime soon, I would think. Let me just get these back into focus for you. Sorry, it takes a second. There you go. This is one of the generals with these hussar uniform on there by the looks of things. So I'm not sure who that could be. Maybe Lassalle, or who's the other French general who dresses up? Murat, I think, perhaps. But again, nice little figure there. Could be mixed in quite easily. Here we have another French general here. So another Marshal. Again, these would make really nice pieces, single pieces for in particular in Blucher for commander pieces, but also, you know, for any other sets of rules as well where you're having individual commanders. Again, here's another one. All these chaps with their bicorns on. They're very fancy uniforms. Lovely stuff. Another mounted general. A Marshal. I say it would be nice to make a little vignette of some of these. I think that might be something I will do. And the Corsican ogre himself, sat aside Marengo. There's Napoleon. You can see from his hat that's quite obviously Napoleon there. That's going to make a nice figure to paint up, and I probably will do that. A little set of these. Here we go. Another. Is that a guard? Cavalry. I think, as I said, I didn't have any details on these as to apart from the fact that they are pre-release Marshals. So that's a nice little one here. A couple again. These are foot Marshals, and this is leading up to the last one of this set. These are part of the famous painting of Napoleon at Borodino, surrounded by his Marshals, and exactly, again, there's the little fella himself, Napoleon, from the famous painting. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's the one I think is a Borodino, where he's sat with his foot on the drum. And you can see that's a lovely little sculpt, that really nice. That again is going to make a beautiful little vignette. I'll probably put those together and actually do something with those and get them painted up. So what I'll do is I'll paint up a few of these and I'll show you how they look when they are painted. And here's one of the painted examples. This is the Prussian Landview, a small battalion of them, of 16 figures, or 4 stands in total. Here's Napoleon and 2 of his marshals, all sat astride their horses as well. A great little commander piece as well for any kind of games like Blucher. And then finally, from the famous painting, Napoleon with his feet up on the drum with 2 of his marshals watching the Battle of Borodino. I think these are lovely little figures. If you've enjoyed this video, please do check out my Patreon. Also do subscribe and also check out Grumbler Miniatures. Thanks for watching.